Welcome, everybody. As you know, our purpose is to elevate people's lifestyles, better health and nutrition, increased wealth, and enhanced relationships. I feel so honored and privileged with today's guest that I'm busting at the seams, if I could say that. You know, the book that I constantly tell everybody is a must read when it comes to negative ionization. This book right here, The Miraculous Properties of Ionized Water. And I like to say the definitive guide to the world's healthiest substance. It doesn't say definitive guide to a healthy substance. It says the definitive guide to the world's healthiest substance. And this is like my negative ionized Bible. And as you know, I always push to the studies in the back because there's study and study after study showing how powerful this product is, or negative ions are. Well, now we're so lucky to have the author of this book tonight. And to me, that is just a privilege and honor beyond speech. So tonight we have Bob McCauley, who wrote and put together this awesome book.
Well, I really, first of all, I want to thank you. I appreciate you having me on here and talking about negative ions, and we were talking and really alkaline ionized water. So there's two ways you can get negative ions, and I'll tell you about the other one in a minute. But first of all, we're going to talk about what you had me on for. You're talking about negative ions. You showed my book,
Yes.
Miraculous Properties of Ionized Water, and it is the definitive guide to the world's healthiest substance. That's the point, because there's nothing more important for your health than water, and there's no better water than alkaline ionized water. Okay, and that's what I discovered that. Somebody brought me a gallon. I was just thinking about it recently. A guy's name was Don Strayer. He brought me a gallon back in 1995. I'd never heard of it, and he walked in, gave me a gallon or so or two, and then I went over to his house and he showed it to me, and I thought this is pretty interesting. And then it wasn't until later that I realized that why it was so valuable. Not only you have these negative ions, sure, that's the whole point. So just tell you briefly, what is ionized water? Well, alkaline ionized water is you're running tap water, filtered tap water, over a positive negative electrodes, and you're creating positive negative ions in the water. And one side is very alkaline, and the other side is, one side becomes, positively charged, and, you separate the ions through a membrane. One side becomes very, you're separating the ions. So negative ions go to one side, the positive ions go to the other side. We drink the negative side. That's the side that, a lot of people think we want the plus side, but that's what I thought originally, but you want the negative ions. So the reason you want those is because basically, we are starved for negative ions. We live much better in a negative ion environment, whether it's internally or externally. So for instance, when you take a shower, you're dousing yourself in negative ions. When you stay next to a waterfall, same thing. When you're standing next to the ocean, you might feel a little better. And because you're getting these negative ions that are just pouring in from the waves crashing. If there's no waves, you don't get that, but it's the bouncing of the water and this kind of stuff. So you get negative ions you found in nature. And as I always posited, you will, alkaline ionized water is found throughout nature. And the guy that was able to prove that scientifically is Dr. Gerald Pollock, who wrote the fourth phase of water, who demonstrates what I always said intuitively, that alkaline ionized water is found through everywhere in nature, which of course it is. So I interviewed him, years ago, and it was an hour and a half interview. And right at the end of the interview, he said, "Hey," I said, this whole thing you're describing to me sounds like ionized water." And he goes, "Well, that's exactly what it is." I said, "Yes." I knew that was it, and I was one of the best professional moments in my life. Actually, it was more like, later I was thinking that's unbelievable, because he proved scientifically what I had always said intuitively, which is ionized water is found not only throughout nature, but what he says is all our cells are made out of this water. So this structured water, this kind of structured negatively charged water. So so we have an abundance of negative ions on the the cathode side of the water, which would be counterintuitive. You think the cathode would produce the positive ions, but they don't. The cathode produces the negative ions. So it's counterintuitive when you're producing this ionized water. And then it's the membrane that separates them and is able to produce, that's the real, technology and technological breakthrough that happened, that really you were able to sell, really able to separate these two waters into a positive and a negative stream at the same time. So it happens instantly. And so what you're getting is 3 antioxidant qualities. So yeah, you're getting an abundance of electrons and negative ions, okay? And you'll see a bunch of bubbles in the water, and they're very, very small, and they'll bubble up, and it's like, looks cloudy. Well, this is what this is this they're hydroxyl ions, and you're not actually looking at the actual ions, but you're actually looking at oxygen molecules that probably have many of them in there. But that's what you're looking at, this, because it's not regular, the water turns seemingly cloudy, but it's not. It's full of, that's the power of ionized water. And there is nothing healthier for you. This is what you should do. I've started my day every day with a big tall glass of ionized water for as long as I could get my hands on it, which is every single day for the last, it's probably 20, 25 years now. So, it's just nothing healthier. When you wake up in the morning, don't grab anything, any kind of food or any kind of beverage other than water. Wake up and drink that. And the best water is alkaline ionized water. And there's ways to kind of mimic that, but we can talk about those later. So those are like the hydrogen sticks or the hydrogen filters, which I sell, and those kind of things. It'll give you a lot of the effects of it. But going back to so why do you want it? So you're drinking these, again, these negative ions. So we want to bathe ourselves on the outside with negative ions. In the winter, I'm up here in Michigan, so we have all these positive ions that get in our houses. See, a good thing for me, I don't have on one this year, but anyway, I should drag it out now that I say it. A negative ion generator. So you turn that thing on and it generates negative ions, and then you live in a negative ion environment in your house. This is very good, so especially if you live where I do, where it's cold and you close off the walls. And this positive ions have been spoken about since the time of Aristotle. So the air being stripped of negative ions, because negative ions are very light and very delicate, and positive ions are they're very very much heavier. So they kind of hang. That's kind of what gets replaced. Ions, there's got to be. So you get it like when the cold November wind comes, you end up stripping out all the negative ions because the leaves are gone and everything. And so this leaves you in an environment that is, negative, that is void of negative ions. Well, this is not what the human body wants. And it's not what we want, the kind of environment we want to live in if we want to live in a healthy environment. So again, that's what we're doing with the ionized water. We're just drinking that internally. So what are the benefits? So let's go over. There's 3 antioxidant qualities. Number 1, an abundance of electrons. That's what we're talking, negative ions. These hydroxyl ions that have the electron attached to the oxygen molecule. That gives you something unique. That's what you want. So hydroxyl ions, number 1, number 2. So there's an abundance of electrons, so a free radical scavenger. Then number 2, the most important thing of all is ORP, oxidation reduction potential. So you've taken that water and you've changed it from a positive charge to a negative. Now you're down there to 400, 500, 600 negative. Don't get obsessed with that number and try to get people to sell you, I've got a lower negative charge. It doesn't matter. All you got to know is ORP, oxidation reduction potential, the ability, the potential of it, one substance to reduce or increase the oxidation of another substance. So this is the key. So, okay, so a couple, what is oxidation? Well, fire and rust. So, rust is slow oxidation, fire is fast oxidation. So when you cook your food, you oxidize it. Okay, and then you put it into your body and you oxidize your body. So you're accelerating the aging process. So if you want to reduce the oxidation of the body and reduce the the aging process and reverse the aging process, okay, in the sense that you're giving yourself this negative environment, again, the negative charge, the negative ORP, then you want to eat one thing and one thing only, and that's raw fruits and vegetables. So there's two things that have this abundance of electrons, and everything I'm going to tell you, ionized water is exactly like raw fruits and vegetables, only there's no nutrients in ionized water. So that's why it's so great. So it's the ultimate get up in the morning and detoxify and hydrate your body. I mean, you're going to wake up, your brain is going to be so much more, hydrated and awake than drinking that water. And then just alkalizing your body, so that, that's another, obviously a big, you woke up. I mean, I guarantee you haven't urinated all night. You haven't gone to the bathroom. You're acidic. It's one of the most acidic times. You need to alkalize. So immediately you need to get up there and you need to start alkalizing the body to wake up the brain and bring yourself basically from an acidic environment, within the body up to something more neutral. That's all. You got to do that with ionized water is one of the best ways. And again, it's just washing through the body, and unlike purified water, which is never drink reverse osmosis or distilled water, because it's the exact opposite of ionized water. That's stealing all the minerals. It doesn't hydrate you. It's we're going to get to this last thing, but it's got a five-sided structure. Penta water, you've heard of penta water. That's why it's five-sided. That doesn't fit the human body. That doesn't fit nature. Okay, so what we've got is three main components of ionized water. We've got the antioxidant. We haven't discussed the third one yet. We'll get to that. The antioxidant, the alkalization, and then the smaller water molecule clusters, which is the detoxification and the hydration, the superior hydration and the incredible detoxification properties of alkaline ionized water. And believe me, it's all about detoxification, and disease is all about toxicity. That's what you should know. If you're sick, you know that you're acidic, and you know that you are toxic. You got things in your body that don't belong there. Okay, all disease comes from your diet. It doesn't come from your genes or your history, your family history, and that kind of stuff. None of it. So at any rate, going back, so we've got for the antioxidant qualities, we've got an abundance of electrons. It's a free radical scavenger. We've got a negative charge, the most important thing that's reducing the oxidation of the body. Okay, that's why I'm a raw foodist. All I eat is raw fruits and vegetables. Okay, I don't cook the foods. I don't bring them into the positive charge. I like that. I was born to cook. I was standing on a chair, no kidding, cooking at 4.5. I was on my own, getting up at 5:30 in the morning, cooking my little meal, sitting down and watching TV, bacon and eggs. So I was born to cook. But ironically, I would never cook anything now, and I don't. I only eat raw fruits and vegetables because it's got those same properties that ionized water has, and that's where health comes from. Only again, the foods have the nutrients. The ionized water doesn't. So that's the chance to fast. And that's why I keep telling you, when you wake up in the morning, break fast. I don't eat anything till 10 o'clock, usually noon until I eat anything, because you want to fast. This is your chance. You haven't eaten all these hours. Keep going and don't eat in the morning. And, if you get a headache, well, that's detoxification, headache, rash, diarrhea, fatigue. Those are detoxification qualities. And ionized water is really detoxifying because of the small, tiny water molecule clusters. Okay, so because of the abundance of electrons, it's all chemistry, but you've got this high pH. So you're alkalizing your body. All disease lives in an acidic environment within the body and doesn't live within an alkaline environment. So you look at cancer. The sicker you are with cancer, the more lower your body pH is. I just finished writing my book on cancer. I'm doing my last edit. I got my copywriter go through it, and I'm editing it. And it's called The Cure in the Mirror, because when you want to cure your body of any disease, just go look in the mirror. That's where you're going to find, the cure for any disease. You won't find it in the pharmaceuticals. You won't find it in the medical world, and really even foods don't cure you. your body, you eat the right foods, you drink the right water, your body cures itself. And only your body can cure itself of any disease. And that's true. I've got bumper stickers that say that, your body is capable of curing itself of any disease, because that's the truth. And so, and that's an empowering message to me. So that's what it's all about. You look in the mirror, you're going to see the cure. You don't need to look to the medical world. You need to look to yourself, but it's all about changing your lifestyle. And water is the cornerstone of health. So that's where it begins. That's where all your, if you want to be healthy, this is where it is. So we've talked about the third antioxidant quality is hydrogen. So you've got active hydrogen. Actually, when I first started, I wrote I'm in my third edition of the book you held up earlier, The Miraculous Properties of Ionized Water. When I wrote the first edition, people didn't know very much about the hydrogen in the water. I'd heard about it, but I didn't have anything I could concretely put on and write this and say, show these studies and talk about it. But now they know quite a bit more about hydrogen and active hydrogen. So this is very, very, again, body is starving for active hydrogen. The body's starving for electrons. We're getting that, and when you eat raw fruits and vegetables, by the way, the body's starved for electrons. Enzymes. So we're getting that. We're also getting, when we're eating, raw fruits and vegetables, especially when they're really fresh, you're getting the same qualities of all of them. You're getting the electrons, it's abundance of electrons, the negative charge, the hydrogen, the alkalization. And then, as we hadn't quite talked about, the detoxification, that's due to the small water molecule clusters. And that is what hydrates your body so well. Your cells hydrates them incredibly well, and then pushes out all the things that don't belong in the body, which we call toxins. We refer to those as toxins, and that's where disease all comes from, where it all starts. And that's what you got to get out of your body. HAD, HAD, hydrate your body, alkalize your body, detoxify your body. That's what you want to do if you want to be healthy. And that's what alkaline ionized water does. And then again, that's what raw fruits and vegetables do. But they've got the nutrients and all sorts of powerful foods that I haven't eaten tonight. But I do a lot of greens. I do a lot of powerful foods. I have a salad a lot, and so but I don't eat lettuce or any of that kind of stuff. I got really powerful foods. So, I'm constantly rejuvenating the body. And that's how you live healthy. And that's again my book. And it's great timing that you called me up now, because I know you really didn't know about my book. I really haven't talked much about it or anything until now, because it's ready to be released. I got the title. The cover made and everything. And it's The Cure in the Mirror. You're the cure for all disease. And that's the truth. And that's a message of empowerment. Not to say yeah, you are the reason. It's not, these diseases don't run in your blood or your genetic line, that kind of stuff. It runs in your diet. And you tend to eat the same foods, as I say all the time, within your families, let alone within our country. I grew up in the 60s, and meat and potato diet. In fact, I tell people all the time, my bones are made out of Coca-Cola and Oreo cookies. And that's what I ate in the 1960s. We had TV dinners, and we ate junk, and we ate garbage. And, it wasn't until I was 20, I was in my teens, when I realized, when I was running track and cross country, that, what you eat, what might make you run faster, oh, okay. I had no clue. So it took some time to kind of, understand all that, but it just, I've been blessed to understand what I do know about health. I'm a certified nutritional consultant, a certified master herbalist, and a naturopathic doctor. And it took me close to 8 years to get all those, degrees and certifications and everything. But honestly, mostly what I know about health is what I've experienced firsthand. It's winter now, so I'm sprouting a lot of stuff, organic sprouts, 2 to 5 days old. I'm putting them in my salads. It's incredibly healthy. This is the way I've always lived, and this is how you're healthy. And I anchor those, by the way, with spirulina and chlorella. The two most powerful foods in the world, two types of algae. I take them in tablet form. We have them in powders. I have a 7-component health protocol, which is alkaline ionized water, spirulina and chlorella, raw fruits and vegetables, probiotics, the friendly bacteria, prebiotics, the angstrom minerals, staying mineralized. I promote liquid angstrom minerals, in particular for any kind of infectious disease, like the one we might have going around now. It's been going around for a long time and will probably go on forever and ever and ever. You take silver. I had meningitis. Meningitis is a killer. I took meningitis. I mean, I took silver for it when when I was in China. It took it out literally within hours. And I had it previously when I was here in the States, here in Michigan, and because it was carried in the mosquitoes. And by the way, this year we had encephalitis in the mosquitoes. You heard nothing about it. That's a 30% mortality rate. Meningitis is 21%. So these are killer diseases and killer infectious diseases, but you can beat them with silver. And then I have a whole cancer protocol that I tell people, like, you got cancer, here's what you want to do. You want to, kill everything in the digestive tract, put back your friendly bacteria, start on a healthy diet, take the spirulina and chlorella, get away from animal proteins, meat, fish, eggs, or dairy, hydrate, your body, obviously very, very important. And then, of course, I have
Dr. McCauley.
minerals, liquid angstrom minerals, and then vigorous daily exercise. And then last but not least, positive mental attitude. So that's seven component health protocol.
What's the name of your book?
Pardon me?
What's the name of your book?
The new book is called The Cure in the Mirror.
So we have to bring you back for that particular book, because we have to have that as our subject for the time. I want to go ahead and give it back to Brent, just so I'd like to get a couple of questions asked to you, if you don't mind.
Okay.
But Brent, you want to?
Yeah. Thank you, Bob. That was so powerful. Sorry I popped out, but I lost the internet and my power went out of the house just for a minute. But I came back on, and it's just your message, your energy. It's just apparent that you're an example of health. So thank you so much.
Yeah.
I know a couple of leaders that were interested in asking questions. I know Mike Mercier wanted to ask a couple questions. Mike, are you on there? And normally we try to keep it about 20, 25 minutes, but since you're such a special guest, we're going to allow that to go over.
Well, thanks.
Mike, are you there?
Yeah, let's see. Open up your mic, Mike. If I can see it.
Hey, my mic.
Let's see if I see him. I'm looking through here, and I don't see him. I think Kathy had a question, but I don't see Mike.
Okay, well, Kathy, shoot away.
Okay, so one of the common questions that I get about drinking water with negative ions is, when it hits the body, doesn't it dissipate? How is it still effective? Now, I know that that's the truth. I just don't know how to answer the question.
Well, actually, after talking all that time, I'm drinking a little alkaline ionized water right now. So, well, that's a good question. I mean, first of all, you got to look at the size of, my head, let alone just this water. So if you're constantly putting acidic substances into your body, and let's use the extreme, you live on a junk food, fast food diet, you're going to McDonald's all the time. This is extremely acidic. Or just, you fry your foods. I mean, fried foods is really, really the worst thing you can do to a food. I mean, it creates, again, all these positive ions, that you don't want. All this acidity. It's all about acidity. If you're sick, I know that you're acid, and I know that you're toxic. You've got these things that don't belong in the body, and there's some very mild ones and very serious ones, but overall they create this environment for disease, to invite disease into your body in myriad forms of chronic disease. You don't find chronic disease in the wild. That's the thing to know. So you can't expect somebody to take a gallon and go, am I alkalized? Well, what's the rest of your diet? And then, 1 gallon. I mean, you got to, even as healthy as I am and all the raw fruits and vegetables, I still drink, probably 1.5 gallons every day of alkaline ionized water. Again, starting off in the morning and flushing it out. And that's how you really get alkalized. So it's hard to stay neutral. So, you just got to tell them, it's like, you know, there's one group out there. I don't, you know, it's MLM. It's in, you know, multi-level marketing group. And so they'll tell you to, oh, you need to drink this water at extremely high pH with a low negative charge. No, you need to drink a lot of volume of water. Never drink the water over a pH of 10. That's the maximum, 9.5 to 10. Okay. And I will say, just so we know, don't drink the opposite. The water you don't drink is purified water or distilled water. Stay away from that stuff. That's exactly the opposite. Now, you're out on the road, you can drink spring water, and I have a stick you can put in there and shake it up and get a, you know, alkalize it and get, you know, it's a little better than normal, and it'll help it. You know, I take one when I'm traveling. It's because it's too hard to carry an ionizer and get it, you know, and they used to have these portable ones, but they really don't make them anymore, and they're kind of difficult to use. So it'd be nice to have them, but the stick was okay. I do have filters that would filter in your lines. I call it the poor man's water ionizer, but it'll do something for you. It's not quite as good. There's nothing like a water ionizer, but you got to drink a lot of water. You got to become a, you know, I mean, it's a habit. All this stuff I'm telling you is a habit. You know, you got to get up in the morning. You got to drink that, you know, couple solid glasses of water. You got, you know, you got it. And then you got to, you know, then one thing I want to mention is don't ever drink more than, or don't ever drink a half an hour before your meal time, half an hour before, during, and a half an hour to half an hour to an hour after mealtime. I wait at least an hour after I've eaten before I start drinking any water or anything, because otherwise you're just diluting your whole digestive process. So that's very important. A lot of people want to, you know, I have digestive problems. I say, how much water are you drinking with it? Well, a big tall glass. I said, that's your problem. You don't want to be drinking water of any kind with ionized water, and with your meal. I'm sorry. And in particular, you know, like ionized water is very alkaline. Well, you know, that's going to neutralize the hydrochloric acid that's happening when you're chewing. See, so when you're chewing, you're creating the hydrochloric acid. That's why you don't want to be drinking all that, because, and then, you know, you want to, I'm big into the probiotics, the friendly bacteria. You know, I have a whole line of products, Dr. Bob's Naturals. And so I'm big on probiotics, because all disease starts in the digestive tract, you know, so there's lots of ways. I big promote digestive enzymes and, you know, all sorts of things. You know, acetic acid, which is apple cider vinegar, or either the powder from apple cider vinegar, we sell that. And so you're always, you know, just really encouraging great digestion, because that's where all disease starts. And then you try to eat as much raw fruits as vegetables as possible. Dr.
McCauley.
The hard part is not eating the raw foods, it's stop eating the cooked foods.
Okay.
What other questions do we have? Anything?
Go ahead.
Dr. Bob.
Yeah.
Have you been following Dr. Pollock's with the EZ zones and the 4 phases of water? Have you been following that at all?
Who?
Dr. Gerald Pollock.
Oh yeah, yeah. I mentioned him. So yeah, me and Jerry were buddies. Yeah, he literally call me Jerry. You know, he's a good guy. And but yeah, absolutely. So yeah, I've promoted his book, and I've talked about it, and I did interview him for you know, well over an hour, and it was almost an hour and a half, and we didn't get to ionized water until the very end of the interview. But he stayed with me, and he described the whole thing, and I've done videos on it. I've got, when if you look at my YouTube channel, it's Watershed 11. I have I have the whole video on, I mean the whole interview. I have by itself. I have you know, kind of you know, how I talk about Gerald Pollock and what he did, and you know, his work. So people talk about this Dr. Emoto, you know, with his crystals, and that's nice stuff, but it's nothing compared to what, you know, Pollock has done. Pollock is the master. You know, this guy is, you know, scientifically demonstrated what ionized water is and how its incredible properties. I mean when it there it is, and it's pushing out everything away from it for, you know, micromillimeters away. Well, when you're down to the subatomic world, I mean, that's like oh my God, well, how does it do that? It's just pushing everything. That's why he calls it easy water, exclusion zone water. It gets into its own exclusion zone, see? And that's what we're made out of. That's what's amazing. And I agree with that, you know, that we're, that our cells are made, you know, we're not 70% water, we're 99% water. It's hard to believe, but that our cells are actually made out of that water. So, and that's the beauty of raw fruits and vegetables, is that they're also, they've got that same kind of water, that hexagonal water. See, that's what you're drinking too. So again, that absorption is so much better and so much more superior. But that's what you always find in nature. Yeah.
Yeah, I believe that Dr. Pollock's just showing that the negative ionization, more and more science about the benefits of it. So that's amazing. And I'm glad that you guys are buddied up. Awesome. How about this? This might be a little bit out there, because I know you just talked about Dr. Moto and the different energy signatures and the crystallization of water. But have you thought about negative ionization on a quantum level, like with quantum physics or quantum mechanics?
Well, yeah, first of all, if you want to get into weird science, I mean, you start bringing water, just water. I've seen it, not to the very extremes, but you start bringing them to the extremes of the pH scale, 0 and 14. Things start getting weird, on a physics level, on a quantum level, as you said. We beyond almost what we can understand, when there's absolutely no negative ion, no positive ion. But what you see, I told you not to drink it over, don't drink it over a pH of 9.5, and that's because 10, 10's your limit. 9.5 to 10, that's your sweet spot. You drink it, you don't want to drink it over a pH of 10, because it just gets too strong, and you start creating other molecules in the water. And on the alkaline side, you create a lot of chlorine molecules. People complain about that. I clean my water ionizer, it tastes like chlorine. Well, it's too strong. It's creating all these chlorine molecules. Just back it down. That's why I'm saying, don't try to drink it at pH 11. That's not healthy. It's too alkaline. It's too caustic for the body. And that's my answer to a lot of these people want to say, and by the way, you say, well, your pH, your stomach is a pH of 2.5. Only when you're eating should you're producing, hydrochloric acid, drops of it. Okay. Drops of it when you're chewing. Okay. That's actually why you shouldn't chew gum. That's another side. You really don't want to chew gum. You don't want to chew tobacco. That's double reason why. But when you're chewing, you're creating hydrochloric acid. So, honestly, your body will exhaust that pretty soon, especially if you lived on a cooked food diet. People ask me, where does disease come from? Living on a cooked food diet. That's where disease comes from. And that's what we all live on. That's what I grew up on. So, not only are people vegan, but to be a raw food vegan the way I am, it's hard to do. Just if you don't think so, try going one day without eating cooked food. You'll find that very, very difficult. So.
Well, I want to wrap it up, because like I say, normally we try to keep it 20-25 minutes.
Sure.
But we'll definitely want to have you come on the show, or we'll have you on again when you come out in the mirror. I love that personal responsibility. Look in the mirror. It's your personal responsibility. Take ownership.
That's what it's all about. Absolutely. You can do it. Everybody can do it.
Yeah.
People said all these years, I want, one woman in particular, she has MS, I'll do anything. Yeah. Anything but change your diet and do what I tell you to do. I'll do anything. So you got to really want to do it. But, in the end, it's personal responsibility. That's my message.
Yeah. Well, thank you so much. We appreciate your time.
Right. Thanks for having me. I really appreciate it.
Okay.
We'll do it again. All right. Thanks, guys. Take care. All right. Bye-bye. God bless. God bless. Thank you.